Dear job seekers, it's 2026, and yes, robots can do almost everything now. You say you want to work from home. I say you don't even need to show up at all. You work at a snail's pace at double the cost, using quadruple the space, and then wonder why employers are rethinking the workforce. That's exactly why I created this podcast, not to scare you, but to prepare you.
Before we begin, a reminder, this podcast is for general information only. It is not legal advice, not employment advice, and not a substitute for professional guidance. Laws change. Workplaces differ. Always seek advice for your specific situation.
That said, understanding how workplace safety actually works in Ontario is no longer optional. It's 2026, and yes, robots can do almost everything now, but they still can't stop injuries, investigate accidents, or speak up when something is unsafe. That responsibility still belongs to people.
Today's episode focuses on a role most workers have heard of, but very few understand.
The Health and Safety Representative, or HSR.
This is not a symbolic role, it's not a suggestion, and it's not optional for most workplaces.
It's a legislated safety mechanism under the Occupational Health and Safety Act. And when it's ignored, workers get hurt.
The impact of poor health and safety practices in Ontario workplaces is enormous.
Lost wages, lost productivity, long-term disability, family stress, public health costs.
Health and safety affects not just the worker, but the workplace, the economy, and society as a whole.
And that's why Ontario law doesn't rely on goodwill alone.
A health and safety representative is required in most Ontario workplaces that regularly employ 6 to 19 workers.
Some workplaces require one even with fewer workers, and construction projects with more than 5 workers also trigger this requirement.
The HSR is a non-management worker, selected by their peers or union.
Their role is simple in theory and powerful in practice.
They identify hazards.
They investigate complaints.
They inspect the workplace.
They make written recommendations to management.
And they support the internal responsibility system, the backbone of Ontario's safety law.
The IRS means workplace safety belongs to everyone.
Not just employers, not just inspectors.
Workers, supervisors, employers, directors, officers.
Each level carries responsibility proportional to authority.
The HSR acts like an internal auditor, monitoring whether the system is actually working.
The Occupational Health and Safety Act sets minimum standards, not best practices.
Its purpose is to provide a healthy and safe workplace, assign responsibility, and promote active participation.
The Act establishes key rights.
The right to know.
The right to participate.
And the right to refuse unsafe work.
The Act is divided into 10 main parts, from who it applies to enforcement and penalties.
Part 3 outlines duties of employers, supervisors, and workers.
Part 5 governs the right to refuse unsafe work.
Part 7 covers reporting injuries and fatalities.
Part 8 gives inspectors their authority.
And Part 9 deals with offenses and penalties.
Is the health and safety representative responsible if something goes wrong?
No.
The HSR does not carry employer liability.
They support safety. They don't enforce discipline or implement programs.
An HSR identifies hazards and makes recommendations.
They do not discipline workers.
They do not run training programs.
They do not make final decisions on work refusals.
But they must be consulted.
The HSR must be chosen by workers, not appointed by management.
They are entitled to time away from regular duties, with pay, to perform HSR functions.
Interfering with an HSR is prohibited under the Act.
So is providing false information.
One of the HSR core duties is workplace inspection,
At least once a month.
with the entire workplace inspected at least once per year.
Inspections must be methodical, not casual walkthroughs.
Hazards are not just machines and chemicals.
They include physical, chemical, biological, ergonomic, and psychosocial risks.
Hiring takes longer. Interviews are scripted. Risk tolerance is lower. Noise, violence, stress, poor lighting, unsafe procedures.
Hazard does not mean injury, it means potential for harm.
How are hazards managed in the workplace?
Hazards are managed using an acronym called RACE.
Recognize, assess.
Control, evaluate.
This cycle never stops.
Eliminating a hazard is best.
Substitution is next best.
Engineering controls follow.
Administrative controls are considered at the worker.
PPE or personal protective equipment is the last option, never first.
Can I refuse unsafe work even if I'm new?
Yes,
Section 43 applies regardless of seniority.
a work refusal starts with reporting the concern.
If unresolved, the HSR must be present during investigation.
If still unresolved, the Ministry of Labor may be called.
Inspectors can issue compliance orders.
They can issue stop work orders,
They can lay charges.
and orders must be posted in the workplace.
Ontario safety law is strict liability.
You must prove every reasonable precaution was taken before an incident.
Documentation is everything. Which brings us to the difference between an accident and incident.
An incident is a near miss.
An accident unintentionally causes harm.
Both must be addressed.
Critical injuries require immediate notification, and emergency responders will be called to the scene.
This requires documentation. Written reports must follow within prescribed timelines.
A report must be sent to WSIB within 48 hours.
What happens if my employer ignores HSR recommendations?
They must respond in writing.
Silence is not compliance.
The HSR must maintain confidentiality.
They are also protected from personal liability when acting in good faith.
Health and safety representatives are not obstacles.
They are early warning systems.
When supported, injuries drop.
When ignored, consequences escalate.
Before we close, we need to talk about training, because appointing a health and safety representative is not enough on its own.
Under Ontario's Occupational Health and Safety Act, an HSR must be competent, and competence comes from training.
The law does not prescribe a single mandatory course in the same way it does for Joint Health and Safety Committee certification, but it does expect the HSR to understand their role, hazards, and rights.
That means training should cover hazard identification, workplace inspections, incident reporting, and refusal to work processes.
An HSR should also understand employer duties, worker rights, and how to communicate safety concerns effectively without retaliation.
Training typically includes understanding how to review workplace policies, access safety data sheets, and recognize unsafe conditions.
This is especially important in smaller workplaces, where the HSR may be the only formal safety voice available.
At a minimum, HSR training should include an overview of the Occupational Health and Safety Act.
It should explain how inspections are conducted, how to document findings, and how to escalate unresolved safety issues.
Training should also include workplace-specific hazards. Construction risks look very different from office or healthcare risks.
And the HSR should understand how WMIS fits into their role, including chemical labeling and reporting unsafe exposure.
Equally important is training on how to interact with management professionally while still asserting safety concerns.
In Ontario, there are several well-recognized training providers that offer HSR, appropriate education.
The Workers' Health and Safety Center is one of the most widely used providers, offering worker-focused safety training.
Public Services Health and Safety Association, or PSHSA, provides sector-specific training, especially for healthcare and public services.
Infrastructure Health and Safety Association, IHSA, is commonly used in construction, utilities, and transportation sectors.
Workplace Safety and Prevention Services, WSBS, supports manufacturing, agriculture, and small businesses.
Many of these organizations offer in-person and online options, which is critical for smaller or remote workplaces.
Without training, an HSR may exist in name only.
And that puts both workers and employers at risk.
Proper training empowers the HSR to identify hazards early, before injuries occur.
It also protects the employer by demonstrating due diligence under Ontario law.
In other words, training is not just a worker benefit, it's a legal and operational safeguard.
That's why this podcast exists, not to scare you, but to prepare you.
That's all for today's episode. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, and tune in next week for more episodes on working in Ontario.